Hello everybody, long time no phone video. Today we're going to be looking at the Redmi Note 12 Pro Plus, which I was lucky enough to be gifted by Xiaomi, the company who designs this phone. Now it's supposed to have an incredible camera, so I'm very excited to check that out. And I also want to give it a little bit of a decoration, change the theme, customize the icons, just because you know my style. I like to make everything as cute as possible, and default just doesn't cut it. So let's get into the unboxing. So let's start off by taking a look at what is inside the box. We have a wall plug, which I'm sure if you purchase this in Australia, it will come with an Australian wall outlet. Then we have the cable, which looks to be a USB to USB-C. We have the quick start guide, the warranty card, and the safety information, which whoever reads these. We also have a phone case, which is always lovely when they are provided because I just get so scared using a phone that has no protection. And now we get to take a look at the phone. So to show the scale of this phone, I have an iPhone S. Is that just what it's called? I've had an iPhone once, this was not mine. And I also have the Samsung S20. So you can see that it is quite a little bit bigger than the S20, but I believe it may be around the same size as the S23 Ultra, if that's what's out right now, because this definitely wasn't the biggest phone on the market. So this phone is a little bit bigger than I'm used to, but it still does fit comfortably enough in my hand. And I do think I could even do one-handed texting if I feel like I need to, although two-handed does seem like it will work better for me when I use this. And now I do think that it's time to turn it on and check it out. While it's turning on, I thought I would read some of its best specs out for you. So it has a 6.67-inch display, and it has a 120 Hz refresh rate, which is very nice and smooth. It comes in black, white, and this beautiful sky blue that we have here. The camera is, like I said, one of the best aspects of it. It's a 200 megapixel back rear camera, and it also has an 8 megapixel and a 2 megapixel. So it's got the wide camera, the regular camera, selfie camera, macro camera, front camera. It has it all. So I'm still going through setup, and we're just checking out the lock system. So it does look like they have a fingerprint scanner and a face unlock, which is great. I believe the finger scanner is right on the side here, which I love so much. My current phone also has the scanner on the side, and it's just so convenient because you go to unlock your phone and instantly your thumb is exactly where it needs to be. So now that the phone has completed setup, let's just take a quick look at that finger scanning thing. So we open it up, boop, and it's unlocked. So I just think that is one of my favorite features. It may seem like just such a small detail, but I love having the fingerprint on the side. So to change the theme on this phone, there's literally just an app called Themes. So I'm going to click on that and take a look at what we have. So what I usually like to do is just go straight to the free categories, and it will give you all the best free ones. And then you can just search for what you want. Normally I would filter by pink. That is a hot word, so let's search by pink. Now I do want to try and make the theme tie into the blue, so I might be looking at some kind of a like anime sky sunset thing. So let's see if we can find what I'm looking for. Oh, you know what? This actually looks quite pretty. It has a very similar blue to the phone. I might take a look at this. It is called Pink Sky if you were interested in this theme. And let's take a look. Oh, this one is very cute too. Really cartoony. Maybe I'll try that one out too, because we can download several and then switch between them. And you can also customize the themes here, which is great, which means you can alter the icons if you don't like the particular icons that are associated with the theme. It's all a nice bit of playing around, which is why I love phones that run on Android, because iPhone just, it's so not as customizable. It's really, really limited in what it can do, and it just bugs me, honestly. I had an iPhone once and I vowed to never ever go back. So let's just take a look at this one. So it looks like you can choose which bits you want to update with this theme. I'm honestly just going to do it all because we're starting from scratch here. This one seems to have some compatibility issues, but honestly, I'm going to give it a go anyway. Oh, that is so cute. Oh my goodness. Not quite sure if it matches with the back here though. Oh, this one's very nice too. I really do think this one suits the blue of the phone more. It seems to just tie it in nicely. I like that the clock is blue as well. Although the icons aren't as cute, so I think I'm going to keep this theme, but then go in and change the icons. But that is very, very cute. And you can see how easy that was to totally transform the entire look of the phone. And now I think it's time to move on to checking out the camera, which I'm quite excited for. So I'm going to take some photos on this phone and my flip phone just to compare the photos, because I know that this flip phone, despite costing quite a lot of money, it was in the mid-thousands, like 1,500 at least, the camera is not that impressive. And I understand they have to make compensations for the design, but considering this phone seems to be in the like 600 to 800 range, which is more than half the cost of this, I'm very excited to see how the camera compares. So obviously I just got this phone, so I'm still learning how to use its various features and various camera lenses, because those look quite fun to explore. There's like a pro mode, there's a macro mode, there's so much for me to explore. But I'm really excited to jump into this, so I just took some basic photos on some basic settings that I could figure out, because let's be honest, not everybody is a photographer. Not everybody knows what ISO is or an f-stop. Anyway, let's take a look at the photos I've taken. So I just want to get started by looking at the wide angle lens that both phones have. It does seem like there's almost more of a saturated vibrancy on this screen, and I'm not sure if it's the screen or whether it actually captures more vibrancy, because I do know that I have my Samsung phone set to be more vibrant, whereas I know sometimes iPhones have like kind of a duller look to them. This is set as a vibrant mode. This is set to default. So if you take a look at like the pink buildings here, this is a lot brighter than this one. And both phones' brightnesses are up all the way. Oh, hello. What I have noticed already is that when zooming into a photo, so these are both wide angle photos, I've taken them both as the 19:6 ratio, is that I can zoom in, just slightly more on my Samsung than I can on the Redmi, but honestly it's not by much. This is max zoom for me on the flip phone, and this is max zoom for me on the Redmi phone. You can just go in a little bit further, but then it bounces back. So to take a look at the file size, we've got this one as 2 megabytes and this one as 7.39 megabytes. So obviously there's a massive difference in the file size. It is about 2000 by 3000 pixels on the Redmi, and on the Z Flip it's 3000 by 4000. So based on the stats, it seems like the photo on the Samsung is a little bit better, but when I'm actually physically looking at the screen, the Redmi looks more crispy. And I don't know why that is. Like if we just look at a small detail like this building, it might be because of the vibrancy of the color, but there's something about it that doesn't scream massive quality difference, if you know what I mean. So now I want to take a look at the regular lens photos, and I believe it's a similar story here. So in terms of zooming in, we can get this whole building to fill up the screen. On this phone, however, with just a regular camera, it doesn't quite fill it up all the way, but you still get that color difference. We'll take a look at the details. So the Redmi one is actually larger in megapixels. It's 2300 by 4080. Whereas the Samsung one is 2200 by 4000. File size on the Samsung is 6.6 and on the Redmi it is 3.1. So what I'm gathering from that is that there's going to be a bit more quality in the Samsung, but the Redmi, you're going to be able to take more photos because they're automatically more compressed in size. And like this photo actually has more pixels. I guess it's just the phone system that doesn't allow it to zoom in as much. I'm still not sure why it does that, but if you opened it in another photo app, I'm sure you would be able to zoom in more and more and more and more. Moving on to the next photos, This is a view from outside my window, and this is both cameras zoomed in as far as they can go. And they are pretty much on par. It does seem, like I mentioned before, that the Samsung is slightly more dull, whereas this white is more white. Zooming in more, you can't really see the words past, present and future of Melbourne Fringe. And the same story goes here, past, present and future of Melbourne Fringe. But when we look at it, they've kind of blurred in different ways. This feels more like it's like a blocky blur, and this feels like they do a soft blur. I'm not sure what kind of a difference that makes to photos, but I did find it interesting. Moving along, I did film a video of zooming in on both phones, and there is quite a big difference in this one in that the Redmi doesn't zoom in as far on video. I believe it's only 6 times, whereas the zoom can go up to 10 times on the photo, whereas Samsung, you can zoom in as much on the video as you can on the photo, so there's no restriction on that. So if you want to be zooming in far and videoing, this is about the point that you're going to get up to. For the price point of a mid-tier phone, it's not up there in the thousands like one of these. You can still zoom in from this far away and be able to read most of the text if you're filming. Now, another example that I found interesting was this camera has a dedicated macro lens. So I just started taking a couple different photos of the flowers. This was using like the normal camera. It didn't quite focus properly, probably just because I didn't click on the flowers. So this is the one photo, actually I took 2 photos on the Samsung. So this is a regular photo just holding up close, and then I took one holding up close and zoomed in as well. This was just 2 standard photos taken on the regular camera, not doing anything special, just holding it close. Then I found the macro lens, and you can get much, much, much closer and get more detail in the plants. The issue I'm finding is that you can't zoom in super, super far when you've taken a photo. So like Samsung lets you zoom in quite far. See all the little veins, and this really annoyed me seeing this like hair here. I don't know what it is, but sometimes macro is a curse. Sometimes quality is a curse. Like when you zoom in a camera on your skin, it is terrifying. Never do it. So I did take this one on the macro lens, and then I also took one and then zoomed in slightly more to try and see if we could get some more detail in it. And you definitely can. Now you're starting to see the spots on the leaves and the veins. You can even see this hair right here, but it's just not as crisp. So I would say it's very cool that you can have a macro lens setting, and obviously I have to play around with it some more. So the last of the comparison photos that I took was using the selfie camera, and the same issue persists, is that the Samsung is so dull and the Redmi just has that contrast. So although you can zoom in slightly further on the Samsung than you can on the Redmi, in my opinion, which is my unprofessional opinion, I think this looks like it's better quality just because of the contrast levels. You can zoom in and see the hair finer here than you can here, but this just really makes a big difference to me. And the file size, once again, is more than half this one. So if you're the kind of person that likes taking many, many, many photos, never organizes them, and just has like 20,000 things on your camera roll, this might be a good phone for you because you've got 256 gigs, you've got plenty of space, and you just don't have to organize as much because the photos are so much smaller. So now that we're here together again, I just wanted to take one quick look at the camera together and just see the different settings that they have available on this phone. One of my favorite things is that although there is a pro mode, like a lot of phones have, you can choose all the exact settings that you need. There's also an AI setting, and it will pick it all for you. It will choose the best setting, and I love that so much. Now, I was playing around with this off camera, and I discovered something that I didn't quite want to discover. So I was zooming in, and I zoomed, and I zoomed, and I zoomed onto my phone, and oh, I found a crack. It's one of those things that you wish you never found out, but hey, look how good the zoom is, right? You can see just like, it's so tiny. You literally I never even noticed it, and I look at this phone hundreds of times every single day. So it's good to know that this can zoom in and see the details. Another thing I really love is that On the video, you can also do macro videos, which is a good setting to have, I believe. It kind of blurs everything out from far away, but when you hold things close, you do get this beautiful close-up detail, because I know like a lot of phones, when you hold things too close, it just doesn't focus, it just dies. It doesn't want to register anything, but we can get quite a good amount of detail just on video, and usually video is worse quality than photos anyway. You can also do things like beautify your skin, make it super smooth, but I try not to do things like this because I don't want to be too out of touch with what my skin actually looks like. We also have the standard portrait, night, and more settings, which includes Ultra HD, short video, panorama, vlog, slow motion, time lapse, and long exposure. The one thing I really want to check out is the vlog setting. So it looks like, oh, I see. Okay, so let's turn this volume down. Basically, it looks like you can choose from a preset film and it will give you the clips that you need to take. So it will show you when you need to change your angle. It automatically puts a filter on. It's all set at the exact right times to follow the beats of the music. So if you're not really too sure on how to edit, you don't know when you should cut, what beats to follow, things like that, this seems like a really good setting to just copy. It doesn't have to be exactly what's on here. It just gives you a really good template to work with, and I like that. So I really do think that I've rambled on enough and my battery on the camera is about to die. So I'm going to wrap things up, but in conclusion, this phone is really quite good. The camera functions just as it should, and although it's not a luxury phone, it's not an expensive phone, it is a mid-tier range. But the fact that it's mid-tier and it's more than half the price of my current phone, the photos line up. They do compare. Some are better on this, some I think are better on this. But once again, considering this is double the price, it really is worth considering a non-main brand phone. I know Samsung and iPhone have a hold of the market and you can't see phones like this in store before you buy them. So it's always a little bit of a risk, but that's why I'm here. I'm here to show you these phones, I'm here to show you these videos, and just to give you a better picture of what other phones are on the market in case you're kind of sick of sticking with those main brands. So I really hope you did enjoy. I'm going to leave you with that, and let me know in the comments below if you would like an update video and when I've used this phone for a little while. I do plan on taking it to Europe with me and taking all my photos and vlogs on this phone, so I will definitely by the end of the year have a better grasp on it. So let me know in the comments if you would like an update video to see whether it holds up, and I will see you in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!